Hi guys, what a lovely weekend we've been having. I'd just like to start this one off by thanking Margaret from the original Wooden Koi Company for posting my last video onto a Facebook channel to help boost up my subscriptions, which it did very nicely. Thank you very much, Margaret. So while we're on subscriptions, I would just like to try again to clear up something. There seems to be a little bit of a confusion about the subscriptions. Obviously I was stuck on 225 subscribers, and I don't think it moved for a week, almost 2 weeks I think. So I thought of doing that giveaway of the wooden fish just to help boost up my subscribers. There was a couple of people who thought that everybody from the first subscriber up to 300 were all in the draw, but I think I've said it quite clearly on 2 or 3 occasions that it was for the new subscribers from 225 to 300, and they were the ones that would be in the draw. So I'm sorry for any confusion apart from that. But having said that, people are still not leaving their names. Since Margaret put me on a Facebook page, people have been leaving names, so it has helped quite a bit. So at the moment, my subscriptions stand at 266. So I've had 40 new subscribers. Well, yeah, 41 new subscribers, but only from the, well, I've got down 40 new subscribers, and there's only been 26 people what have left their names. So good news for you 26, you haven't got to compete with all of them. So even if I say all I need now is another 34 subscribers to get to the 300. So if everybody leaves their names now, it will be a total of 60. So there will only be 60 people in the draw. So any new subscribers, please leave your name, and obviously you're going to be in for a bit easier of a draw, isn't it? So that's the draws done, or the thank yous to Margaret and everybody else who is subscribed. Thank you very much. Now we go on to what happened to me on Tuesday. I got up quite early Tuesday morning, believe it or not, about 4:30 in the morning. It seems like once the sunlight or the day breaks through my bedroom window, it wakes me up. I'm going to have to get like blackout blinds, or I'm going to have to get a mask like I.O. Silver used to use, you know, or Tonto. I bet there's not many of you out there remember that. So I think I sat out here with the boys for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Well, sorry, boys and girls. And I've been having problems with my van, so the battery had been on charge all overnight. I've left it plugged in all overnight. I went out about 7:30 to unplug the battery and bring the charger back in. And while I was out there, my head went very dizzy. I thought, oops, I knew something weren't quite right. But also, I got pins and needles all down my left arm and right down the left hand side of my face, and my lips were tingling. So I come inside and sat on the settee. My wife got up about, I don't know, 7:45, I suppose, and I said I don't feel well, so I sat there, had a couple of cups of tea, had a chat with the wife. The pins and needles wouldn't go away, and the pins and needles were through my lips and run right under my jaw. Didn't have no pains in my chest at all. We ended up phoning 99 ambulance about 9 o'clock in the morning. It eventually turned up about 1:45. Obviously, whoever's on reception, obviously there must be paramedics, because although the ambulance never turned up till 1:45, at least they phoned back 2 or 3 times asking how I was, how I felt. They actually spoke to me as well, and they said if you feel any worse, it gets any worse, phone 99 again and they'd get someone straight out. Obviously the hospitals are manic, it's absolutely crazy. Anyway, the guys turned up at about 1:45, lovely young man, young woman, and that first class, absolutely first class. I say, obviously both paramedics. Well, he put so many wires across my chest, it was unbelievable. 2 packs of wires into obviously a heart monitoring machine, and they stayed with me for about 45 minutes. So 1 o'clock, obviously they arrived at 1:45. So about 1:30, he said, how do you feel? I said, well, the dizziness has gone. I said, but I've still got pins and needles down my face, and it was under my chin and my hand. So he said, yes, but how do you feel? I said, well, I feel all right, but I said, there's no way I could go out there and drive. I couldn't drive a car. So he said, well, if you feel that you can't drive, he said, obviously I can't kidnap you. He said, but if you feel that you're not fit to drive, he said, I think you should come and see a doctor. So I agreed to that, and they loaded me up in the ambulance and took me off to Southend Hospital. Obviously they can't leave until they hand you over to the hospital. I think there must have been about 10 or 12 ambulances all queuing up to get into the hospital, all full up with patients, and they couldn't hand over. Luckily, I sat in the ambulance for about 20 minutes. He said, come on, he said, let's get you in. So I thought, oh, lovely, I said. That was quick. He said, do you think so? So he got me in, got me a chair, and obviously once he got me seat, off he went. We then sat there, and nothing happened. There was an old gentleman sitting opposite. When I say old, he must have been mid-80s. Obviously he'd fallen and face planted somewhere. He'd smashed his face in. He had a bandage across his forehead, which was soaked in blood. His nose was continually bleeding, which he was trying to mop up with a tissue. He was in a state. The nose was bleeding so much that the chap opposite him had one of them cardboard sick trays, and he offered him the sick tray to catch the blood in. There was no one come to see him. No one come out to offer him a drink. He just sat there, and I thought, this can't be right. There was another guy. I think he should have been retired. He looked over retirement age. Obviously, he was still working, and obviously he worked on a building site. He'd fallen from the scaffold. He said about 20 feet. Bounced off a few scaffold poles on the way down, and to break his fall, he tried to grab hold of a ladder. His arm went through the run of the ladder, and then he fell and dislocated his shoulder. And he was sitting there again. No one come to see him. No one spoke to him. Nothing. There was a young lady sitting there, I would say early to mid-30s. She'd obviously either an upper leg or a hip. She was in agony. They did take her off to a room, and she had to limp to a room which was about 5 doors away. because they had no wheelchairs. So she was in there about 20 minutes, half hour, and they brought her back out on a gurney, like a bed, like an operating theatre bed. Wheeled her back down to the reception area where we was all sitting, and they just left her there. So again, she was on the bed for about 20 minutes, and then two guys come up from, it looked like they come up from theatre, they was in their blue gowns and everything, and they said, sorry, we need the bed. So they lowered it down, and I don't know, sort of manhandled her off the bed into a chair. They did come out once and give her a syringe full of it looked like Oromorph. I mean, I've been on Oromorph with my head when I've done my head, and obviously tried to kill the pain. And I said to the wife, if that's Oromorph, it's going to knock her out, and she was sitting up bolt upright in a chair. She had been there from 10 a.m. It was chaos. There was people sitting on the floor. There's people coming in through the back door, the front door. There's a door to the side. But everyone that had come in by ambulance, they were just sitting there, and no one was coming out to them, because there was patients coming in with letters from GPs, or obviously the referral letters, and they were taking them in first and just leaving, like the ambulance patients, just sitting there. And you thought, what is going on? Anyway, we ended up sitting there till 6 o'clock at night. So we'd been in there 5.5 hours. No one said hello to me. No one asked what was wrong with me. Never see anybody. And I said to her, well, I'm not sitting here no longer. The pins and needles had gone by now, so I weren't dizzy anymore. The pins and needles had gone. I said, come on. I said, we'll go. So we walked out the hospital without seeing anybody after 5.5 hours. But the funny thing was, when they took me up to the hospital, I just went in my slippers. So we come out of the hospital, there was no taxis. So luckily there's a bus stop right outside the hospital. Jumped on the bus, come on, got off the bus, tripped up the pavement, ripped the sole off my slippers, and then I had to limp all the way home. So that was fun. So, thankfully, I'm feeling much better. I've been working at home for the last 2 or 3 days, cutting grass, cutting the hedges. I don't know, you can't see it, there's too much sun. Cutting the edges, and I must say, Jill, my bush looks beautiful. So, I've still got my sense of humour. I was going to jet wash the drive today, but it's such a nice day, I thought I'd just sit where I am and do what I'm doing and having a couple of beers. So, I say, you cannot, obviously we've got the best health service in the world. Them paramedics were, well, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it's not, I don't think it's any fault of the staff in hospitals. It's not their fault, I don't think it's their fault. As the paramedic said, he said it's just the government. He went, the government have let us down, and I think he's right. So that's that moan out of the way. Well, it's not a moan. What can I say? I'm just glad that I weren't having a heart attack or anything else, because I think I would have sat in the hospital and died. Anyway, that's moan number 1 out of the way. Moan number 2, gas and electric charges. Now we've got a smart meter, and it's with Octopus Energy. Now I read that meter every day, and I write it down at the end of the month, tally it up. That's it. I know how much my gas and electric is all week. When we get the bills in from Octopus, it is normally within £2 or £3, which is acceptable. You know, they're either higher or lower, so it's acceptable, £2 or £3. Last month they asked us to put up our standing order from 135 to 175. we're still in credit, so we said no, we're not going to raise the standing order. Okay, they said we'll leave it at 135 or 138. The very next day, the wife's gone into the kitchen and the smart meter is flashing. Boom, 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 boom. So when I've gone and looked, it stopped flashing. But on the meter, there's a facility only on the electric where you can look at it and you can press what you are using now in pence. Obviously the gas doesn't, because you have to wait half hour for the gas to catch up. But on the electric, you can look at it and it tells you exactly what you're using now. So normally when I've got everything's on, you know, what have we got on standby? You've got a couple of TVs, we've got 3 fridges and 2 freezers, they're on standby. So with that and the pond and everything else, all the electrics on the pond, it's running at about 7 to 10 pence an hour. Now, if I turn anything up on the pond, if I want to sort of pump out and push my pump up to 50%, I can do. I look at that and I can walk straight in, I can see what I'm using per hour. Well, they've taken that facility away to see what you are using now. And all they've put on there is the watts, what you're using now. Well, you can't sit there and calculate how many watts per hour, can you? Anyway, got to the end of last month, and where the bill is normally £2 or £3 out, it was £20 higher than what it normally would be. And when the wife emailed them, they come back and said, oh, the technology is not quite there. Really? Well, why isn't it? The technology's been there for the last 18 months while I've had a smart meter. As soon as you ask us to put the standing charge up, we say no, you put the bills up by £20. So something's not right there, is there? So she sent them another 2 emails and they've just come back with something, I can't say the first word, but it would baffle your brains. Unbelievable. They just come back with excuses. So obviously there's no escape from these gas and electric pirates, as you could call them. So what else can I say? My fishes are doing fine. Melon, they're eating melon like it's going out of fashion. Loving it. Our nitrites have gone up a little again because I think we're being overfed. I know you say you can't overfeed them this time of year because this is the main time to put on a little bit of weight. But I say they're looking beautiful in there. I'd like to see if I can spin you around, but I say I can't turn this camera around. Normally I've been doing the last few videos, so you haven't seen me, but I thought I'd give you a treat today and let you have a look. What to do with that? The old beard being mowed, I think. But I think of something else to say, and I shall pop back very soon. Right, so with my modern day technology, as I've told you many times, I'm stupid and I haven't got a computer. So I don't know what you guys are looking at here, you know, I've turned this camera around the other way and I can't see what you're looking at. But I don't know if you can see that piece of melon there. The boys have demolished that in about 45 minutes. They are eating like horses. I wasn't going to say horses, but that's not real horses, but they're going back to the East End, they're horses. They're eating like horses. Now there's me head, there's me old bush. Look at the lovely plants. There's me lovely old bush I was talking about. What I'm going to see how that one is there, that's grown out to the timbers. The idea is to try and grow all this out to the timber and just cut it in line with the timbers. That's the idea of it anyway. I think this section is never going to happen because you can see it's all burnt in the middle, and that's where someone's, before we arrived, had cut it back too far and it sort of died. But I think at the end of the day, if it doesn't grow, I'm going to fill that complete section in like with an 8x4 sheet, and I don't know, might put a couple of optics on there, I reckon. But all looking good down here in the pond. Grass is looking lovely. It's lovely out here, sitting out here, it's beautiful. Still looking at the old grass up there. You can see slight lines are coming. They're coming, they're coming. Still a little bit early in the season. Everything else is all going good. All looking fine. So pleased that these fish have got over their little bit of fluke. So I did 2 doses of fluke sole on them, not fluke sole, but Lurnex. Yeah, just the Lurnex. 2 doses of Lurnex, and thank the Lord, I think they've got over it. Looking great. Get the odd flash, but I think because we're feeding them more, you get the odd flash now and again. But I don't know, they always seem to flash in the same position. It's not all over the pond, it's just one position they tend to flash on. Whether they're trying to get something up off the bottom to eat, I don't know. I say, all looking good. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing, because I can't see the back side of this camera. But they're just mooching around everywhere. Mooching for food. Everything in the greenhouse is still going berserk. I think you can see the red strawberries over there. Strawberries and cream tonight. Tomatoes, still not, obviously nothing ripening up yet, but they're going to be there. Grapes, look at the grapes. I'm wondering, with these grapevines, the grapes are up to that level, but they go right the way up to the top. And there's nothing on there. There's no sign of any grapes even growing. I just wonder whether to chop the tops off, and because the top bit might be nicking a bit of goodness out of the grapes. The auto watering system, first class, brilliant. Very pleased with all that. Don't really can say a lot more on it really. All I can say is, oh, this is going to be dodgy. I'm turning the camera back around the other way. Oh. All I can say is, guys, we've got 35. We need 35 more subscribers to get to 300, and then we'll sort out how we're going to pick the winner for the fish, and then you can get in touch with Margaret, and you can sort out what design, what make of fish you would like. So another 35 subscribers. Please leave your name or YouTube channel, the name of your YouTube channel. I'll write it down in my trusty little book. With my little book, my trusty little book here. I've got all your names on there. I'll tell you what though, I know that this, just to bear with me for a second, I've got something here for Lee Hadfield, the Coy Soldier. Wait a minute, take your time. It's on the other phone. Lee went shopping today, then went to a garden centre, pulled into the garden centre, and there was a number plate on a Citroen. I think you'd love it. Now I know when I'm going to put this on for you to look at it, it's going to be all backwards, but I'm sure you can see what the number plate reads. And I'm pretty sure if you'd been in that garden centre, you would have stood by the side of this vehicle and waited for the driver to come back to see if he wanted to sell it. I'll hold it up and have a little look. There we go, that's the number plate. Well, to me, that certainly says Wolf. And I'm sure that you would, instead of buying another fish from Japan, I think you might have bought that number plate. So as I say, any more subscribers, I would be very grateful of. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my new subscribers, and just hope that I'm open to myself to keep well. No more pins and needles, no more dizzinesses, and I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers, guys.